we're here today. We're talking about national insurance and we're talking about pensions. Your worry is pensions. Yet the Prime Minister has decided to double down on the Conservative plan to abolish national insurance if they win the next election. What do you see as the problem with that?
Well, good morning, Eamon. Well, first of all, a Labour government would always give our pensioners certainty by honouring the triple lock increases in the state pension. But Rishi Sunak has committed to a £46 billion plan to abolish national insurance, a commitment he cannot fund, from money he cannot find, unless he cuts the state pension by £96 a week, or he taxes pensioners, he imposes a double taxation on pensioners. This is something that Nigel Lawson, back in the 80s, remember him, warned of when he looked at this proposal. Or it could mean increasing the state pension age to 71, because there is a £46 billion black hole in Rishi Sunak's plans. And unless Rishi Sunak explains today how he's going to fund this plan, pensioners will conclude that the pension will be cut under the Conservatives and the future of the pension is at risk under the Tories.
Well, since Rishi Sunak isn't here, he can't explain that, but I can ask you to explain how you intend to maintain the triple lock, which you have committed to doing. We've got Lord William Hague, former leader of the Conservatives, saying it is ultimately unsustainable, and the Institute for Fiscal Studies saying that this creates an insurmountable pressure for a higher pension age because it will just be so expensive.
Well, remember the triple lock increase, and just a reminder, the reason the triple lock was brought in, if you remember back in the 1980s, Margaret Thatcher and the Conservative government broke the link between earnings and the pension. And the triple lock, the earnings link, or inflation, or 2.5%, which is higher, is about restoring the pension relative to wages. And it's important for today's pensioners, but it's also important for tomorrow's pensioners, because everybody who's working today, paying their contributions through national insurance and is building up a pension. This gives them certainty. Well, the triple lock is in the government's fiscal projections. So government policy, if you like, is that the triple lock is maintained. A Labour government would maintain that triple lock as well. So it's in the government's baseline. But of course, actually the Conservatives are proposing to take £46 billion away from the National Insurance Fund that funds the pensions. And as I say, Rishi Sunak's got to explain why he's going to cut the pension by £96 a week.
Well, yeah, but I'm still not clear on your policy on this. The Institute for Fiscal Studies have said that retaining it for a long time increases pension spending, which in turn leads to insurmountable pressure for a higher pension age. Can you rule out that you won't increase the pension age in order to fund this triple lock? Well,
there is an increase in the pension age, has been agreed across parties. It's going up to 67. In the future pension age increases are always reviewed periodically by all governments. The expectation is that when you look at do these reviews, you take into account life expectancy. But of course, life expectancy, which has generally increased since the war, has begun to stall. In fact, has gone backwards for some of the poorest in society. A lot of people say that's because of Tory cuts and Tory austerity. So when we have these periodic reviews of the retirement age, all these factors are taken into account. But I come back, if you're taking £46 billion out of the National Insurance Fund that pays for today's pensions, one way in which you could make up that black hole is by increasing the pension age to 71. That may well be Rishi Sunak's proposal. He needs to tell us if that is his proposal or not.
But whatever way, you're obviously saying that none of us should trust our state pension to the Tories.
Yeah, absolutely, because they can only fund this £46 billion bombshell by cutting the pension by £96, taxing pensioners more, as Nigel Lawson, back in the day, Rishi Sunak's hero, of course, warned in a memo that we've released today, or by raising the retirement age to 71. Look, and the reason we're asking these questions is that Rishi Sunak was asked 3 times at Prime Minister's Questions by Keir Starmer, will you rule out cutting the pension? 3 times he was asked, 3 times he refused to answer. Britain's pensioners, including GB News viewers, want to know what is the future of the state pension under the Tories and how they're going to fund this £46 billion cut.
Jonathan Ashworth, you may not be able to answer me on this next question. I was a bit distracted during that because we are getting breaking news of a critical incident that's been declared in Essex. Wes Streeting has been tweeting about it, so I just thought in case you are aware of it, you may have some comments. But this is near Hanolt, I think is the correct pronunciation, tube station in Redbridge. A number of people reported to have been stabbed. At least one person has been arrested. And Wes Streeting tweeting that this critical incident's been declared. He says there are road closures in place and a male has been detained. Are you aware of this ongoing situation at all?
I'm not, but
No.
obviously that sounds extremely worrying. And if people have been stabbed, obviously we obviously all hope that they are okay. And but it sounds like an extremely worrying situation. It's obviously just breaking news there, and I'm sure we'll find out more this morning. But that is a very, very worrying thing you've just put to me.
OK. Jonathan Ashworth, on that note, thank you very much indeed for your time this morning.